is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with another What to Expect video. As you can see by the title, we're going to talk about the Bulls. This is a team that has a lot of excitement, and it is deserved, going from 27-55 to having a fresh, healthy Zach Lavine. Last year, he was working his way to get back in shape, to get back going for the regular season. This year, he gets another time. He gets another chance to play with his, similar teammates that he played with last year. They have chemistry together. He knows how Fred Hoiberg wants to run the offense, so it's not that much confusion this year. And like I said, they made the playoffs, so he had a lot of time to work on his game. He had a lot of time to really work on that knee, strengthen it up, get back to where he wants to be. He obviously got paid the $20 million plus a year. I personally didn't have a problem with it because I personally feel that Zach Lavine can play. They ended up adding Jabari Parker. Obviously, that was one of their biggest signings since Zach was already restricted. Their biggest free agent signing was getting Jabari from Chi-Town. He gets to go play in front of his home crowd. That should be pretty exciting. Plus, he got paid. That just lets you know that. Remember, it's a one deal though, so he still has to go out here and play with urgency. Ain't like he signed a 4-year deal with the Chicago Bulls. He only signed 2, and they can let him go. So he still has to go out there and try to play his best season so he can continue to get paid. And best way to do that is go out there and play and try to do your best. That's all you can really do. Obviously, they had Lauri Markkanen, a guy that a lot of people thought was a mystery. We didn't really know what he was going to bring to the table. We really didn't know what he was going to be. Not too many people even seen him play. So it was a little hard, trying to see what he's going to do when he got traded for Jimmy Butler. But we all now respect him. He made a name for himself. He showed that he was one of the best rookies available. And he played like it. And we all expected him to build upon that this year. Obviously, you had Wendell Carter, one of the top picks in the NBA draft, a versatile forward, can play the power forward or the center position. Lengthy, quick, cover space, can block shots, can set great screens, can space out the floor, can put the ball on the floor, and he just looks amazing. But he's still young, he still is raw, and he still needs to continue to polish up his game to get where he's trying to go. But honestly and truthfully, I like it. I like it. Obviously, you have Chris Dunn, had a huge disappointing season with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he was able to have a decent, solid season last year. His biggest thing is injuries. He has been suffering through a lot of minor injuries that has been keeping him out, and that keep pushing him back, pushing him back, pushing him back. Hopefully, he can have a rebound season to show why he was one of the top picks, why he was one of the most respected players in college at Providence. And I was a fan of him. I actually picked him to win Rookie of the Year, just like a lot of other people. But one thing I would definitely say is he still has a lot more to prove. And if he wants that money, he's going to have to play significantly better if he wants to be a starter and he wants to get paid. So they have Bobby Portis, another guy that I like on this roster. I was kind of surprised they went with Wendell Carter because how great Bobby Portis has been playing, especially off that bench, being able to come in and be a weapon. Scoring from the perimeter, scoring in the post, setting screens, picking and popping, rolling to the basket. Bobby Portis has been a lot better than what people thought. He was always a good summer league player, but now he's turning into one of the better players on this roster. He made a name for himself. When you talk about the Bulls, everybody always brings up Bobby Portis because he can play. He can play. And that adds more depth to their bench. Now that they have Wendell Carter and Bobby Portis, that adds another big to their bench. But it's going to be tough. When you look at Lauri Markkanen, when you look at Wendell Carter, you look at Chris Dunn, you already see Jabari Parker and Zach Lavine getting $20 million. It's not enough money to go around, and somebody's gonna have to take a pay cut. And it might be Chris Dunn. I gotta be honest because he hasn't played as well as the other players, but he is one of their only two-way players on the roster, and that is highly coveted, especially with his type of athleticism and his potential shooting ability. But at the end of the day, this is a roster that has even some decent bench players. Like I said with Bobby Portis, Denzel Valentine is a guy that can play the point or sometimes play the shooting guard position. You have Justin Holiday, who had a solid season last year, a little streaky, but he's a solid player with Jabari Parker and Zach Lavine. You don't have to rely on him so much to do so much carrying in the offense because they can do it. You all obviously still have players that you still trying out, like Darren Watson. You still trying out Cameron Payne. Maybe they can make a bigger impact if they can stay healthy. And on top of that, this team is one of the teams that a lot of people think can make the playoffs, and that's what we're gonna talk about now in their season. After we talked about the players, so at the end of the day, I do think this team can be a surprise team. They do have the talent um, to really go out there and beat anybody on paper. We don't know how they're going to play together. We don't know how Fred Hoiberger is going to utilize them. We don't know what type of system and offense he's going to run because he do have a lot of new pieces to this puzzle. And he has more players that can handle the ball and create on their own, something that he built on from last year. And, their shooting has got a little bit better. Are they the best three-point shooting team? No, they might be worse, one of the worst, or even at the middle of the pack. But at the same time, you can still make the playoffs without shooting a lot of threes. You might not make it far. You might not win 50 games, but at the end of the day, you can still win. And another thing that's going to be a problem for them besides three-point shooting is just defense. This team is very young, and they don't have a system yet to put them on the same page defensively. So that's going to be one of their biggest problems with Zach Lavine and Jabari Parker, obviously not known as two-way players. And then you obviously have Lauri Markkanen, who's shown potential of being a solid rim protector, but he's not there nowhere near the defender that he needs to be to anchor that defense with Wendell Carter. But this is one of them seasons you build upon. You see what you have with Jabari Parker. Do you want him? Is he worth $20 million? That's something that you decide by seeing how he played this season. You get to see how great Zach Lavine can be. Can he be that number one option? Is he a number two option, or is he a three option? That's something that you'll figure out this season because he has really no excuse coming into this season. Just because at the end of the day, he averaged 20 in Minnesota, and he was a third option, and he was able to close and take over games then. But now he's the focal point of the offense probably. He's going to get a lot of ball handling duties. He's going to get a lot of shots up, and we're going to have to see what he's going to be able to do on a nightly basis when he's dependent on being one of the better players every single night. Same with Jabari Parker, and they're going to see that this year. Is Zach Lavine good enough? How good is he? How dominant can he be? How much can he take over? Can he even be one of the most improved players in the league as his shot attempts and his chances going to go up, knowing that this roster really needs him to dominate the game if they really want to win on a consistent basis, and they're paying him like that. So it's just a matter of seeing what he can do. Obviously, we want to see how great Lauri Markkanen can become. His ability to hit the pick and pop and roll to the rim, shoot the spot up three, does make them hard to guard because everybody is a threat offensively. And it makes you have to respect and guard everybody because everybody can basically shoot decent enough and respectable enough. But not only that, they have this floor spacing and the screens and the bigs that can do so much things offensively that this team is just going to be tough to guard with the right system. And that's the thing. Can Fred Hoiberg really find a system that can work to his player's strong suit? We done seen coaches like Brad Stevens and Greg Popovich get the best out of everybody on the roster. Can Fred Hoiberg get the best out of his starting lineup? Can they stay healthy? That's another thing. Zach Lavine, Chris Dunn, Jabari Parker just can't stay healthy at all. And they've been having significant injuries. Will that play a part into this season? They got a lot of excitement. They got a lot of people thinking they're going to make the playoffs, but can they stay healthy? Can they main two players, their nucleus, can they stay healthy enough to help them win enough games to make the playoffs? You might only have to win 40, 41, 42 games getting the playoffs in the East. and you have a lot of bad teams that's significantly worse than the Chicago team that they're going to play multiple times. But like I said, I do have 5 teams already locked into the playoffs, which is the Pacers, the Bucks. Obviously, you have Toronto, Boston, and obviously Philly. They locked in. But then you can also add the Washington Wizards. So those spots are taken already. And there's only so much room that these players can fit in. Now, do I say if those going to be the top 16 record wise? No. But I think that those are teams that I would definitely say is guaranteed to make a playoff spot. But then you also have teams like the Detroit Pistons. You have teams like the Miami Heat that are well coached, but they're not guaranteed a playoff spot. And they done missed the playoffs. 2 years ago, the Heat missed it, and the Pistons made it, but they haven't made it back. So I think they're going to be competing with the Heat. They're going to be competing with the Pistons for that 6th, 7th, 8th spot in the Eastern Conference. And even though those teams are well coached and they do have talent as well, this team can explode on you. I can see this team still in a lot of games. I can see this team taking a lot of teams by surprise, especially in the early season when a lot of people don't really know or will see what they're going to do and how they're going to execute their offense and how they're going to use all these players. I can see them catching a lot of people off guard and really winning a couple games in the early season. But it's just all about consistency. Can they continue to win games? Can they continue to close games? Can they buy into a team concept? Can they, all of them be on the same page? And that all is important when you're trying to win games. And that's something that Jabari Parker hasn't done that much because he was injured a lot with Milwaukee. That's something that Zach Lavine has never done. Same with Chris Dunn in the NBA. Larry Marketing hasn't been winning. Wendell Carter hasn't been winning. Obviously, Bobby Porter's been with the Chicago team. So are they good enough to close games? Are they smart enough to take care of the ball? Can they play defense in the fourth quarter to win games? Can they do stuff like that? All of this is legitimate questions. But all of this is what get you into the playoffs. And we really can't judge them until we actually see them on the court. And we can't really judge them until we actually see them play together for at least 25 to 30 games. And that'd be almost all-star break. And that's when we'll see if this team is the real deal or is they a couple more pieces away on that bench from really trying to get where they're trying to go. So at the end of the day, we'll definitely see where this team heads. I do not have them making the playoffs. I think it's going to be tough for them to win 40 games, especially, like I said, they don't have a defensive identity. I'm not the biggest Fred Hoiberg person. I'm not saying he should be fired, but I have to see more from him before I give him a lot more respect because he hasn't been able to really make the playoffs besides with what the Jimmy Butler team, that was the worst team he had helped make the playoffs, and they didn't have that much three-point shooting, but they did have a solid player. I mean, one of the best players in the world, in Jimmy Butler. They don't have that this year, but they do have more talent throughout the roster and more youth, which means they can get more effort, fighting energy. But will they do that consistently to win games? I think that this Bull team is good. I think that this team is going in the right direction, and I think that they have an abundance of young talent, but I don't know if they can put it all together this season and really make a run at that 8th or 6th, 7th seed. I think they'll be in the race. I think they'll be close, but I don't know if they can do it together right now. Maybe next year they can make a run at the playoffs, especially if they can get another high draft pick to add to this roster and add another solid pick and from free agency to this bench. I really have to see this young team play before I can really, have expectations on them because they have so many new parts and they have a lot of new talent on this roster that we haven't seen play. So it's hard to really gauge how well they fit and play together. And that's going to be the biggest question for them. Building upon this season, learning each other, growing with each other, building with each other, and just going out there and building the chemistry. And that should help them possibly make the playoffs next year if they add some more pieces to that bench and to that starting lineup. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description, comment section below. Check out my spread shirt if you want to buy t-shirts, hoodies, or even sweaters, or even a mouse pad, pillowcase, or phone case with my brand on it. Thanks for the support. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. Like on Facebook to show support. Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis, I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think about the Chicago Bulls. Will they make the playoffs? Will they miss the playoffs? Will they be the surprise team like the Pacers was last year? Or will they just be a mediocre team that's good enough to win 30, 35 games but not good enough to make the playoffs? Let me know in the comment section below.